Welcome back to the show. Okay, when you think of environmental activism, one might think that really comes from someone from the left or the Democratic Party. Well, that's not the case. Someone on the right now, conservatives, are now taking a stance. Joining me live via Skype is Nicholas Rehnquist. He is a national policy director for the American Conservation Coalition, known as the ACC, which is a nonprofit organization focused on free market, limited government, and environmental ideals. Nicholas, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Glad to have you. Now, when one thinks about environmental change and climate change and all those topics that are always in the news, one would tend to associate that with a Democratic or a more of a liberal stance, but you guys are changing that, right?
Yeah, we are changing that. And actually, I would say we're revamping that because Republicans and conservatives in general have a long history of protecting the environment, whether it's, the EPA, which was started by Nixon, the National Park Service, which was, Roosevelt's idea. And then, for example, in Texas, the Don't Mess with Texas cleaning up litter campaign by Bush. There's a long history of that, and I think that it's time for the next chapter of conservative environmentalism on the right in Texas and across the country.
Now, Nicholas, do you think that the Democratic Party and liberals in general do a better job of telling their story of what they've accomplished rather than people on the right and conservatives? Because you've just named several things that have been great policies for this country, but maybe people don't know that some of those policies came from the right.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point. I mean, the left has done a better job of communicating what they've done and communicating their ideas, even if they haven't done anything on that specific idea. They've kind of branded it as their own and branded it as something that was worth doing. Whereas conservatives are not, at least on that issue, as good at doing that. So part of what ACC is trying to do is communicate our successes and also communicate that there are ideas that aren't the Green New Deal to tackle environmental issues. And you don't have to be a liberal or a progressive to care about the environment around you. In fact, I would say that conservatives, may care more in certain ways when it comes to, for example, hunting on public lands or, conserving public lands, because a lot of the hunting tags revenues go to conservation.
Let's talk about what you're hearing from students across the state of Texas. You've got several campuses right here in Texas, so we'll get to those in just a second. But what are some of the questions or some of the concerns that you hear from students?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of concerns. Texas is obviously the conservative stronghold of the United States. I mean, it's the biggest Republican state. So with that, there's also issues in Texas with the environment. For example, you've got kind of an issue with sea level rise, for example, hitting cities like Galveston, and inland, you've got inland flooding happening in certain places, North Texas especially. You've got the threat of wildfires becoming more apparent. And so these are all concerns of students and just the general population in Texas. And students also, are going to care about, how are they going to find a job after school and where are they going to work? And can they work in this space and make money, which is very true. I mean, you can make a lot of money in clean energy and in conservation.
Well, Nicholas, I guess it doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you sit on. We all want clean air, clean water, and a better planet to leave our kids. We appreciate your time today on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
There you go. We've got plenty more coming up after the break. Stick around.